This is Tom Morrissey from the band KILLCODE, and you're listening to Rock Hard with Jay Conroy.
Tom, thanks for coming in. How you doing, man?
Good, man. Thanks for having me, Jay.
My pleasure. You guys are a New York rock and roll band. Basically started off with you and your guitar player, Chaz.
Correct, yep. Mm-hmm.
Guys did a couple of songs and then said, hey, we're going to go from there.
Exactly.
Now, let me back up a little bit. Where are you from?
Originally, I was born and raised in Yonkers.
Oh, okay. So you're local.
Yeah, and then I moved to the city and been here since I'm 16. Yeah.
Okay.
You know,
now, what are some of your early musical influences?
Early on, I was my father was a huge R&B fan. He was really into James Brown.
Love that.
Yeah. He was my cousins and the people in my area where I lived were big classic rock guys. The Stones and Aerosmith. So I had that background, but I actually was surrounded at that time with a lot of the original hip-hop scene. So I kind of had a mixed bag of influences. But I also was a singer at school and church.
Okay.
So,
hey, Axl Rose did that.
Sang in the choir, I, the Lord of Sea and Sky, led the whole thing.
Uh-huh.
So I really couldn't, explore my, I couldn't express myself, with listening to hip-hop and that stuff. So I decided, to join a band and do that thing.
Now, before KILLCODE,
yeah,
you in bands in high school, all that sort of thing.
I was in a band. I'm lucky enough that most of the things I've been attached to had some longevity. I didn't change around too much. The band before KILLCODE, I was called More. I know it's an awful name, but it's called More. And I was in that for quite a long time. And I went straight from that to another band that was short-lived that Chaz was in. And didn't work out, so we decided to go, like you said, in his home studio, and not really to start a band, but just write music,
Yeah.
Because the band he was in, I joined. I was filling in for somebody taking over the job, so there wasn't a lot of writing going on initially. So it was our first experience between him and I writing songs to see if we can do it, and it came easy. So we said, okay, let's fucking put a band together.
Now, in your biography, I'm going to read this here. KILLCODE is a 5-piece American-based rock band that hails from New York City. The unique sound and style has been described as Southern-infused rock metal with modern-day vocals. Mm-hmm. KILLCODE songs are hooky, supercharged anthems with big guitars and driving rhythms that pumps a shot of adrenaline into your system the moment you hear them. That is a perfect description, I think, of your music.
Thank you.
And I didn't quite hear the Southern thing right away.
Right.
Quite honestly.
Right.
I hear it like a lot of times in your verses, maybe. I mean, there's some songs you have that are just blatantly, blatantly Southern.
Yeah, like Still Here.
Like Still Here, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Liberation.
Right.
That no doubt about it.
Right.
But like your harder stuff, you still hear it in there.
Right.
But it's not Southern in the terms of like Leonard Skinner or the Allman Brothers. So
well, that's actually funny you say that, because that's actually my first concert. I think I went to Jones Beach was the Allman Brothers. So I always had an affection for Southern rock. But it really came from Chaz. Chaz, when we first started writing, he is a big Southern rock fan.
Okay.
And his style of music, it just comes out. And, Southern rock and classic rock, I think, go hand in hand.
Sure.
And yeah. So there's definitely that influence there. But it wasn't a conscious effort. And nothing we do really is. It's whatever comes out, comes out.
Yeah, and definitely the modern day vocals, because it does really give it a unique sound. I mean, I almost hear Korn and Rage Against the Machine and those sorts of things.
And that came from, again, like I said, when I was a kid, I was a break dancer and I was into hip hop, and I can't say I'm a big fan of today's hip hop. There's some good stuff out there, but it was kind of like my punk rock in a weird way, if you want to say that. So yeah, you can hear some of that in some of the songs, especially the last album, because I kind of stayed away from that kind of cadence just because there were a couple artists that ruined it. So, not Rage Against the Machine, I think they were great. And then the guys always wanted me to do more of that stuff, and I was like, nah. And then the last album, I said, you know what? Maybe it's time to, put some more into it.
All right, let's go back. Your first album was actually an EP, To Die For,
Correct.
In 2009. Then you guys, the very next year, did another EP, Taking It All.
Right.
Then you guys actually in 2011 had a song called Breaking Away from the movie Dressed.
Right, correct.
Then 2011 was your first full-length album.
Right.
Self-titled Kill Code.
Correct.
2012. You came out with the single Shot in 2016, which is on your current album,
Correct.
The Answer, in 2018.
Right.
Now, that's a bit of a gap between albums. Why was there a gap? What was going on?
Actually, the reason it took a little longer was we actually had it finished, the album. And we had just signed on with our management at that time, Collier Entertainment and Danny Stanton. And we had finally, got a break, and we're about to go on a tour, opening up. We did a bunch of dates with Ace Frehley as the main support. We did the last Twisted Sister
You've
tour.
opened for a lot of big people. Yeah.
And he said, we were about to do that, and he said, you know what? Maybe you guys should wait till after all these tours. Then after the Twisted tour, we went and did a whole run of festivals over in Europe. We decided to do limited edition copies of the album that we did sell at shows, but we didn't put it online. It wasn't available unless you were at a show.
This is The Answer.
Yes,
so The Answer
exactly.
was done
Right.
way before 2018.
Right. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
that makes sense.
And quite a while. And he said, let's build a name for you guys, worldwide as opposed to locally, and people be more open to hearing it. So that's why it took a little longer.
Right, because you are definitely well known in the New York area.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. You're established in New York City, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so that makes sense because that was really a smart move on his part.
Right.
Now,
And then
noticed-
also
Go ahead.
I will add that we did in the past. It was go in the studio, bang it out. I mean, especially like the first EP. I think we did it in like a week. You know what I mean? With The Answer, who we did with Joey Z, producer from Life of Agony, guitar
Right.
player. We took our time. We took months. I think it's 7 months to do it or something like that. So that was part of it as well.
all the the EPs and your first full length album, very good. But I definitely hear a progression.
Yes.
Definite progression. And with The Answer, I find The Answer a little bit harder, a little bit less of the Southern rock thing. I mean, you guys got crunching guitars.
Right.
Your vocals are clean. The drummer is phenomenal. The bass, I mean, it's a tight band all the way around.
Thank you.
There's no doubt about it. And who writes the songs?
We all do.
You all
It's a total collective, collaboration. Different ways. Sometimes I might have the melody first, and Chaz or DC or Eric will come up with something around it. Sometimes it's just me and Chaz that come up with the initial idea, and everybody else adds their 2 cents. Or DC. Eric also is a great songwriter. He brings songs in, and Robbie might not write the guitar riffs or the melodies or anything like that, but as a drummer, his style, I think, equally adds to the soup, if you want to call it.
Right. Do you write the vocals?
Yes.
So you write all the vocals?
Yeah. I mean, there's a couple songs that I contribute less to, 1 or 2. Song like Liberated, you had mentioned. Eric brought most of that together. And then I usually have to give my little input into it, only because to make it feel like it's my own, I have to add something.
Yeah.
But it's a total collaborative process. I do probably write about 80% of the melodies and lyrics, though.
And what do you write about in your lyrics? For instance, because The Answer, the title track, what is that about?
The Answer is just basically, it's somewhat abstract. I do like people to kind of take what they get out of it when they listen to it.
Which is what I was doing when I was watching the video.
Right.
Listen to the music, and then I watched the video. I actually watched it like 3 times in a row to say to myself, and that's what I said to myself, well, what am I getting out of this? Because it is abstract.
Right.
So, go ahead.
So for me, it's just basically like, everybody has times when they question things in their life, whether it's, the good, the bad, the ugly, whatever it is. And sometimes, hopefully, you come to a point where you say, you know what, I figured this shit out. You know what I mean? I got the answer. And it's kind of like talking to yourself, in between the chorus. What you talking about? It's kind of like talking to yourself. Like, what are you talking about? You don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Yeah.
No, I do. I got the answer. So that's kind of what it is. About sort of finding your truth, whatever that may be.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a great video, by the
thank
way.
you, thank you.
In fact, let's talk about your videos because your videos are amazingly done.
Thank you.
They look like very big budget videos.
Right.
Now, I don't know what kind of budget you guys are working with. I have no idea.
Right, right.
I know you're hooked up with the director.
Yeah, David Swieczewski, who is the director of all our videos. We met him. You mentioned earlier a song called "Breaking Away." "Breaking Away" was a song that was on our albums that had nothing to do with the film it ended up on. But our lawyer at the time knew David, and David was looking for songs for his documentary called "Dressed," which was about a homeless guy who ended up becoming a great fashion designer, working with Tommy Hilfiger's daughter, and he just did very well for himself. And he loved "Breaking Away." So he put it in the film, and he actually made it the title track of the film. So that was kind of cool to be able to go to the movies and see it on the credits and everything. And then he said, let's try something, let's try a video for it. So what he did, which I thought was great, and I'm not sure if you saw the video.
I did.
Yeah. He said, let's do a different version of it, because we already had the electric version. He said, let's do an acoustic version of it, and let's record it live while we're doing the video. So when you see that video, that's actually one take all the way through.
Really?
Live while we filmed it.
Surprise.
Yeah. And that was the beginning of our relationship with him. And then after that, we did Still Here, The Wrong Side. We just did a trilogy that we put out, what we called it a trilogy, which was his concept. Was, he's a very enthusiastic, hard worker. And he's like, I don't want to do one video, let's do 3. Yeah. I was like,
so what was the trilogy? What are the 3 songs?
There was The Answer, Put It Off, and Show Me. We did The Answer first, Put It Off second, and Show Me third. And we released them within months apart from each other. And we promoted it that way as well as the trilogy. So he's into making things very cinematic, as I am.
Yeah, that's what they are.
Yeah.
When you look at this, you're like, man, this must have cost a fortune. It's like a big budget video. This looks great.
Well, in today's day and age, as you know, if you have a lot of talent, which David does, you can do things a lot cheaper. You know.
You're right.
Yeah, you are right. Like years and years ago, that would be a fortune. And also, we're lucky to have a lot of people around us who make it a lot easier for us, who loans us their studio, like for instance, or we have our own tools. Like DC happens to be a car buff, and he has some really badass.
Is that where the cars come in that one video?
See, as opposed to other videos when you see, they're buying or renting cars. That's his cars. You know what I mean?
Those are some badass cars.
And the motorcycles in the video, those are Eric's and DC's motorcycles.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So.
And they're all badass.
Yeah. And
where was that shot? That scene where
another example of having friends in Pennsylvania.
I fucking knew it. I watched it and I said, this looks like fucking Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Because I'm originally from New Jersey,
right.
So from the area. And I said, that's either West Jersey somewhere. I go, but that's Pennsylvania. Yeah. I fucking knew it.
Yeah. Good friend of DC's. Had a friend that had it's almost like a camp. It's a big house, a big barnyard,
huge property. Yeah.
And just around, and when you see the guys and us driving around, that's just the surrounding area.
Yeah. It's like I don't know if it's cornfields or something.
Yeah. I mean, it was it was a really cool experience, and again, because it was a friend of ours, there was no time restraints. The only thing we had to do is feed him and, let him get him some drinks or whatever. It was great. It was fine.
I get the vibe, too, from, studying you and studying your band, that you do have a lot of friends. And you have a lot of people, I know you call them
the KILLCODE
crew.
Right.
With a K.
Right.
And you do seem to have a lot of people behind you that help you guys out. Right. Hey, man, I got this.
We did it, even though it was a dying thing at the time, as far as... go to the street and promote. We did it from day one. And matter of fact, I think any success we have now is because of that. All of us would go out, numerous times a week to every show. We still, even though people weren't doing it anymore because it was the age of the internet, we still were making flyers and handing them out. And we still do that to a certain extent. Not as much because we're not here as much, thankfully, on the road and stuff. But it was really important for us to make connections. And we were a staple of several clubs. We were just always, where to find us. If we ever did anything wrong, it'd be really easy to fucking find where we were.
Right.
We were always at Duff's all the time. We were always at 3 Cups. That was our hangout. And
Oh, I spent many nights down there before it closed. Yeah.
So yeah, that's how we built our following, and it was a grassroots kind of thing, and it still worked, and it's still working to this day. And we don't go out as much anymore because we're a little older and a little wiser. But with that said, whenever we're on any show or any tour, we're big into the meet and greets. We hang out. We don't pack up and leave after the show like a lot of bands do. We stay there to the end. We watch the other acts, and we make sure we meet everybody. And
that goes a long way with people.
Yeah.
Because I know that I've gone to shows, and sometimes it's the opening band.
Right.
And they're out there at their merch booth afterwards, and I've gotten interviews that way. I go, hey man, I really liked your band, and blah blah blah. But that goes a long way with people. It's like, hey, these guys were cool. Right. I know a few bands that are name bands that they do that with people.
Even our crew. I mean, as far as our crew, as our roadies and stuff like that. Most of the people we work with, we met as fans at shows, and they become family. And they end up working for us. You know what I mean? It's like, I always believe that you're only as good as as your fans are, or the people that dig you. So it's a big thing for us. And talking about merch is really important to us. That's how we pay our bills, and we're pretty successful with that, thankfully.
Back to your new album. There's some songs that I love on that album. Shot being one of them, which we talked about.
Right.
Kicking and Screaming.
Yeah, Shot's one of my favorites, too.
Is it? Yeah.
And Kicking and Screaming is a show staple.
Seems to be.
Yeah,
definitely seems to be.
That's Kicking and Screaming is a show staple, and Shot is, for whatever reason, whenever we get into that song, it kind of like just sets thing off.
Slave.
Yes. Yeah.
Put It Off.
Yeah.
The harmonica. I fucking love that.
Yeah. That was an idea that DC came up. He had a good friend named James Clisette, who's a phenomenal harmonica player, and that was an afterthought. The song was already written. He came in when it was tracked, and he just did what he did.
Yeah, he is a great player. Because I watched the video, I'm like, wonder who plays harmonica, because a lot of times it's the singer.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, it's not Tom.
I can play a little bit, but not like that.
Yeah, that guy's definitely good.
We also bring him on stage for a couple of our songs. He's played along with Still Here, which is a nice little flavor for live. Yeah.
Now, let's talk about the state of the music business, the state of the rock business, which basically is fucked right now.
I agree.
I say this over and over. I'm like, look, back in the day, you had a record company, you got signed, they gave you money, you went into the studio, they put you out on the road, okay, and then slowly you made the money back, okay. Well, that doesn't exist anymore.
No, it doesn't.
So therefore, a rock band, and let's face facts, rock is not the big major, which kills me.
Right.
I'm like, what are you fucking kidding me? Right. I mean, there's bands out there, Shinedown, Godsmack, who I think you've played with.
Yeah,
okay?
I love Shinedown too.
They should be playing the fucking Garden.
Right.
Do you know Shinedown is in the top 10 bands that have the most #1 rock mainstream singles on Billboard? Mm-hmm. And they're in there with like Aerosmith and the Foo Fighters. I mean, they're in there with some big names. And they got to go out, like they'll tour with Godsmack to draw 5,000 people, maybe 10,000 people.
Right.
Where back in the day, at that level, with the amount of albums they have out, they'd be playing the fucking Garden.
No, it's true.
And I'm like, what the fuck?
Right.
So for somebody like me, it's like, man, this fucking sucks. So
how do you think I feel?
Well, yeah.
The way I look at it is, first I do it because I love it, and I'd be doing it regardless, But, it is important to make money, and you need to, be self-sufficient, especially now, like you said. We're even though the music business fucked, we got lucky with a couple of things. You know what I mean?
You guys have had a couple of good breaks.
And
there.
the same thing I said about David being a director. Same thing with the producers we worked with. Stacey Odell and then Joey Z. They're talented enough that we did the album on a small budget as opposed to spending millions of dollars like you had to do before.
Right.
And because of the way technology is now, you can get a major label sounding album in someone's basement.
Right.
Right. So on that end, that's how we do it. And then the other end is, we got a really good break where we ended up doing really well in the European festivals.
Which I wanted to talk about because, I follow, I follow the
which
rock
doesn't go
stuff.
on here. So like.
No, unfortunately,
Yeah,
it doesn't.
yeah.
The ones that go on here are kind of more.
So if that didn't happen, like I said, I'd be doing it regardless. But we were at a point right before we signed on with our management that we were kind of spinning our wheels. We were, headlining and selling out Irving Plaza, playing huge shows at Roseland, and doing like Bowery Ballroom once a year. But then what do you do after that? You keep on going. Like we weren't really into getting in, because the way the state of the music business, getting in a van and what I call like a tour to nowhere.
Right.
And we got,
And that's hard work.
Yeah, and we got break. We got a break, and we went overseas and played all over the world for a good part of the year. We're about to do it again, and it's like going to a time warp. It's like because like you were saying over here, the market for rock isn't what it used to be. For instance, I just went to Governor's Ball last weekend, and I saw a couple decent bands that were good bands. I saw a band called 1975, which is on a different level of rock. It's more like pop rock, whatever. But they were good. But there were no bands. There was the year before I went. They had the Struts, who I love, but that was the only band like that. And a 3-day festival with 50 bands. So that shows you. Whereas if you go to Europe, especially the rock festivals, you have all these bands that probably wouldn't be doing much over here, but over there they're still.
I see it.
Yeah.
Because again, I follow it, and I'm like,
and then we got to, we also got to just play with our heroes. It was like, to play with Kiss. It was like crazy to play.
Where'd
with
you play
Aerosmith.
with Kiss?
We played with Kiss in Mexico.
Which is another South America.
The Monterey
Mexico,
Fest.
great
The Monterey Fest. Oh, that was
market.
our first overseas trip. Was Mexico, or Latin America rather. That was the first big festival we did, and it was kind of like the testing for us, and I think for our management too. They were like, Danny basically said, "Listen, I'm going to take you guys overseas, and go, to South America, and if it works, it works. We'll see." And the first show we played to like 60,000 people. It was like, and it worked. So that turned into another festival. We played with Aerosmith at a festival in Spain. That was crazy. And then they do take some of the the modern rock bands too out there. Five Finger Death Punch we played with, and then the other classic rock bands like Queensryche.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you guys are right up South America's alley.
Yeah.
They fucking love hard rock and heavy metal over there.
Mexican fans are the best. I mean, they're all great. Germany's great. I mean, they were all great. But Mexico City and Monterey, it was just insane. It was
really,
insane.
they're passionate.
And the great thing about the festivals too, for me, is that it's all basically rock and hard rock, or metal, but you have like Sepultura, then you have Queensryche,
right?
Then you have Aerosmith. Just all different types, and everybody loves it equally. And you also have not just young kids or old kids. You have the whole family. Like they go with the whole family. You have the mother, the father, the grandmother, the little kids. You know what I mean?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Give me a layout of your summer this year.
Right now we have in July. Well, we're doing a show at the Mercury Lounge.
Yes,
actually,
you
in New
are.
York City.
June 13th.
13th, and that show, we haven't played in New York City since Bowery Ballroom about a year ago. We've been doing other things, and it's their 25th anniversary, Mercury Lounge. And that was one of the clubs that we really cut our teeth in and was like really into. So, doing the bigger shows in New York and everything, it's a lot of running around. So let's do it intimate, like something cool. And we figured that was a great place to do it. So we're doing that on June 13th with another great local band called 10 Ton Mojo. Mm-hmm. If you dig the Southern rock, that's their vibe, like straight up rock and roll Southern rock. And then we head July 26th to Rock of Ages for that festival. And then August 9th, we will be in Spain for their festival, Legends of Rock Festival. And then we hit a few U.S. shows, bike fests, one in Tampa and one in Morgantown, Virginia. And then November 7th, we return to the U.K. For the Hard Rock Health Festival in the U.K. And then we head to...
which is another good market.
Yes. That we've been there twice so far. Did 3 shows, and it was great reception. I love the UK. It was great. And then from there we go to the UK as well, in Scotland for the Firestorm Festival on November 9th. And then the way things with us, knock on wood, still happens. That's what's set right now. There'll be things in between and added as we go. Yeah.
So the band has more or less been at it for about 10 years?
Yep.
Okay.
A little less, yep.
What do you see in the future? Where do you guys want to go? What do you guys want to do?
Well, Like we were talking about before about the industry being dead, which it is a tough go at it sometimes. We've been lucky. We just started getting licensing for our music. We just had a song on The Rookie, a new show rather.
I've seen the commercial for it.
Yeah. Which helps a lot finance-wise.
Yeah, there's money in that. Yeah.
I'd love to continue playing the festival circuit till I'm dead.
Okay, good.
That's what I think that's been a big thing for us, keeping us going. And just keep on doing what we're doing, writing music, and just doing what we do. Yeah.
When do you think the next album will be? I mean, obviously this is
right.
Even though you did it a couple of years ago, it's still fresh. It's still
we're
still pushing it.
We're in the studio now. We have about right now, I would say, between 10 and 13 songs that we're looking to go the album. We've already tracked 3 or 4 of them. We should probably have a single or 2 released very soon. It's already tracked. It's got to be mixed, and actually one of them is being mixed right now. So I would say hopefully within 6 months, hopefully. Yeah.
But with the 5 of you, I get the sense that you guys are all you're like a band of brothers.
Yeah.
That's the sense I get from the band. And this is the first time you and I have actually met in person,
right,
which has been a long time coming. We talked about this on the way in here. But I get the sense that you guys are a band of brothers and you're all in this for whatever it takes.
Right.
All hard rock and rollers.
Yeah, it's pretty much how it is. We are like brothers. We fight, get along, but we all have a common passion in this rock and roll thing. We all really, really believe in it, and everybody would be doing it regardless. So.
And you touched on that before, and you said the word passion. And I used to hear that from so many people. I used to think, fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
It's the biggest load of shit going.
Right.
And, I've been doing this show probably for about 5-6 years now. And after hearing that from certain people, that finally clicked. And I said to myself, you know what? That is why I do it. Like, I'm loving sitting here and talking to you.
Right.
I'm loving when I sit, I do any interview with anybody. I'm like, I love this.
Right.
So I'd still be doing it too. So, because for a while there I thought, well, fuck, the market's dead and nobody gives a shit and blah, blah, blah. And, there was a couple of people in particular that had said that to me that have had success.
Right.
And now maybe not as much success, but
right,
they're still at it. And they said, oh, I do this for the passion, for the love of it. And I'm like, yeah, but you just played to fucking like 200 people.
Right.
That was it.
Well, I mean, honestly, for me, it's like food and water. I need it to do it.
Yes. Yeah. And that I understand because I still fucking need it. Like that Who song, Long Live Rock. I need it every day.
And it's a release. It's a release. I mean, honestly, I look at like even singing and yelling on stage and stuff like that. It's a release. It's I don't know what I'd be doing if I wasn't doing this. Who knows? Maybe I'd do something wrong.
Right.
Yeah. It's also being surrounded by good people who believe in you.
Yeah.
It really is. I mentioned Danny. We also have a German manager, Frank Wilkins, Nontown Music, who helps us over there. We have, you mentioned the KILLCODE crew. In each country that we played, we try to set up fan bases and Facebook pages. KILLCODE Mexico, KILLCODE Germany.
Those work great. Yeah.
We have people like Tina Bukakis.
Right.
Yeah, and people like Ida, who from Mexico, Diego from Brazil. All these people who really, really are passionate about what we do, and we wouldn't be anything without all these people, to be honest.
Yeah, because you know what? You're right. And Tina, I had posted something on my Facebook page that Tina had done. And Tina sent me a note and said, hey, thank you so much for doing this. She says, I do a lot of work for the band here in Germany. So perfect example, of having people in different countries.
I mean, another thing that we, one of our slogans is spread the code.
Yes, I know. Yeah.
And that's really important to us. And, the same way I said about the people, it's also the fans, if you don't want fans, it's not really going to happen.
No, people got to want to see it. Well, you guys are a hard rocking band. You guys got a look. You guys put out on stage. You got good videos. You got everything going for you. And I'm glad that you guys are not talking about slowing down.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's something we all pretty much will be doing regardless, even if we weren't with each other. But the fact that we are like brothers, it really helps keep it, keeps it moving. You know.
Good. I am glad to hear it. All right, so tell people how to find you. Website, social media, YouTube, all that stuff.
Well, if you put KILLCODE into your browser, you'll pretty much get everything, all our links. But KILLCODE.net is the website, which also will take you to all the sites. You can purchase all our music on iTunes digitally. And you could also purchase our merchandise and hard copies of the CD, even though people don't like to buy them as much, but there are still people who do.
I'm one of those people.
On our web store through the website, KILLCODE Big Cartel. And then Facebook, KILLCODE official page. And be sure to go out and like all the other pages from KILLCODE too. KILLCODE Germany, KILLCODE Brazil, KILLCODE Mexico. Because that's something that we also love, that all the fans from different countries kind of mingle and interact with each other. So yeah, basically KILLCODE.net will take you to all the links, Instagram, Twitter, and it helps us spread the code, like we like to say.
Tom, thanks so much for coming in and doing this, man.
Not at all. No,
I
pleasure,
really do appreciate it. I'm looking forward to the June 13th show at the Mercury. I will definitely make that one.
Awesome.
Without a doubt. And I wish you a lot of luck this summer.
Thank you, man.
And, would love to have you come back in anytime you want.
I would love to do it, man. It's a pleasure.
All right, Tom Morrissey from KILLCODE, everybody. Thanks again, Tom.
Thank you, man.